Okay, what's up everybody? Today I'm gonna revisit the Golduck Sun and Moon deck. I was using this deck a lot when I was streaming, and what I found that while it was a pretty good deck, there was a lot of times where it was just like it wasn't really consistent, and I just couldn't get out the stuff that I wanted. And the other thing I also found was that Golduck, there's a lot of cases where he wasn't doing enough damage, and there were certain cards that were giving me trouble. Like one of the good examples was Mewtwo EX with the one with the damage change. The problem was that it was really hard to do enough damage to him. Obviously, I couldn't one-shot him, and to be able to do damage to him and then be able to knock him out the next turn was pretty hard. Mostly because it was really easy for him to get up to 90 damage and take me out right away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the old deck that I have, and I'm going to talk about the issues that it has, and I'm going to show you a new deck. Okay, so let's get started. So this is what I had for my Golduck Sun and Moon deck. As I was building it at first, I wanted the main star of it to be Golduck, and so I was just kind of thinking of stuff in Sun and Moon that might work with it. So at the beginning I was using Golduck, Pyukumuku, I was using Broxish to get energy out, I was using Lapras-GX to, be able to draw. And so what ended up happening is a lot of people at the league, in real life league, they were telling me that it's a little too slow if you're going to be using your attack to draw energy cards, to draw cards from Broxish and Lapras, that you're basically wasting turns. And if you really think about it, there's a lot of cards out there that use abilities to draw cards, or Octillery being one of them, Shaman being the other one of them. And then there's stuff like Hoopa, who can help get other Pokemon out. So I guess my deck ended up reshaping itself so that, at some point I realized that, hey, you can get energy back with the Starmie, so why not throw that in? And the other thing was that Octillery, it's a water type. He works pretty decently in this deck, so why not use him to get some extra drawing power? And so I kind of made this deck, and the ideas of it are great and they work on paper. 2-2, relatively easy to get the Octillery out, relatively easy to get the Staryu out. We've got some dive balls. We used to have more level balls, but I changed it to an ultra ball, and I'll tell you why when I start talking about the Octillery. So one of the things I started noticing was that, the Golduck wasn't doing as much damage as he could have. Yes, you can get him up really fast with the Splash Energy. It helps a lot. If, let's say you have a Psyduck on the bench, you can get another Golduck in next turn, put the energy on him, and he's ready to attack. The problem is, since he's not doing enough damage on his own, there's no other Pokemon that can attack in this deck. There's Octillery takes 3 turns to power up enough to be able to attack. Starmie takes 2 turns, which is decent. There's been a lot of times where the Starmie has helped me with its move, because it can paralyze, and it's a decent stall, but it's not a good stall by any means. It doesn't do that much damage. Octillery is pretty crappy. His attack does 40, and his extra effect is that the Pokemon can't retreat. So if you're up against something good, which you're probably going to be up against, not being able to retreat actually probably going to help the other person. Okay, so it's not going to help them, it's just not going to hurt them at all. And he's got 2 retreat cost and 3 energy cost. So at first I had a Floatstone in the deck just for Octillery, but honestly, Golduck retreats for free. Staryu retreats for free. So it's kind of ridiculous to have like 1 or 2 float stones just for the auxiliary. So the other thing with Starmie is that he retreats for 1 energy cost, which is not that amazing, but considering he gets you energy back, it's not that bad. And considering the fact that it only takes 1 energy to power the Golduck, also makes that not so bad. What was I gonna say? With the Staryu can retreat for free. Staryu is actually really fun in this deck because there's a lot of times where you only need to do like 10 or 20 damage, or maybe even like 30 or 40, and you can actually get that done with Staryu and like a Kukui or something. Oh, I was gonna say that also for Remoraid, I used to use the other Remoraid who can retreat with his attack, but that's really a waste of an attack and a waste of a turn. So I changed it for this one. Again, he can retreat for 1, and the Starmie can get the energy back. So I did the best that I could in this deck to try to get more damage in. I found that the Poison Barb was working really well. And the reason I have this Bursting Balloon in the deck, I would rather have 2 Poison Barbs, but the reason I have the Bursting Balloon is because in real life, I only had 1 Poison Barb in the deck that I owned. I guess I didn't get lucky because it's an uncommon. I didn't pull a second one until recently. So I had the Bursting Balloon in the deck. I mean, Bursting Balloon is good. It's just the thing that bugs me is that it's only on for 1 turn. And, you know, I mean, yeah, it'll stop an attack, or yeah, it'll do the damage, but like there'll be cases where it just won't be enough. Like let's say you want to use a Sycamore and you're just attaching it just to kind of attach it and not lose the card. It's only going to stay for 1 turn, and you're probably going to end up losing it anyway. Okay, so let's talk about the artillery. So the thing with the artillery is he can do up to 5 cards. He can bring your hand up to 5 cards. The main problem with artillery in this Golduck deck, artillery is a great Pokemon. He works well. The problem is that with the Golduck, you're going to want to be holding 2 energy cards to attack with. And so because of that, you're not going to want to be throwing away 2 energy. Or you don't want to be throwing those 2 cards away. If there's 2 energies, you don't want to be throwing them away. The other problem is with Starmie, you want to keep 1 card around for the energy retrieval. And let's say you have an actual energy retrieval in your hand, you're not going to want to get rid of that because you'd rather get the 2 energies so you can attack. So, I mean, if you have Starmie, you'll get rid of the energy, no problem. And then you'll be able to use the artillery. So the other issue with this deck is that it's Dive Ball. So you're using Dive Ball, which is great because you don't have to pay a cost to get your Pokemon out. But at the same time, you kind of want the Ultra Ball for the artillery, because the artillery, you want to get rid of cards so that you can draw more cards. It's like a mini, you got to think of it like a mini Sycamore. Like, Sycamore works because you can just destroy anything. Like, you have to sacrifice what you don't want. So you got to think of it that way. Even though his artillery's power is to get you cards without having to discard, sometimes you'll want to discard so that you can get the cards that you want. So that's why I ended up putting 1 Ultra Ball into this deck, just for that. But honestly, it's not enough. And as you can see, I also have a Level Ball, and that, let me lead into the next problem with the deck. So the next problem is the setup. So first thing you want to do in this deck is get a Psyduck out. Second thing you want to do in this deck is get a Golduck out. And then, so the first support Pokemon that you want out is Staryu and Starmie. So already, like, let's say you start with a Psyduck you're gonna get a Golduck out. That's one Dive Ball gone. You're gonna get a Staryu out. That's another Dive Ball gone. You're gonna get a Starmie gone. That's another Starmie out. That's another Dive Ball gone. So you're gonna have to depend on some luck to actually get one of those Pokemon out, or to get like a Sycamore or anything else so that you can get the Pokemon out. And what I found a lot is that it's just like way too much setup to get everything out. I mean, yes, you can argue that you'd rather get the Remoraid out and then the Octillery so that you have drawing power. But the thing is, like I mentioned before, you're gonna want to be saving those 2 energies every time. Like, you want to get your Golduck up and running as fast as possible, like second turn if possible, you know. So, and the reason that is because if you're up against an EX Pokemon, they're going to be attacking like second or third turn, and they're going to be able to take your attacks easily. And so as soon as you start losing Golducks, then you're going to have to spend, you know, your Dive Ball getting another Psyduck out, getting another Golduck out. So it's just too much setup. Just too much setup. So, and the other thing I was finding is that you kind of need the Fisherman, because, so you need an Energy Retrieval and you need Fisherman, because something's going to happen to your Starmie. And so the good thing about the Fisherman is that you can keep seeking it out. Energy Retrieval has the benefit of not being a supporter, so you can use it and then still use a supporter, or use a supporter and then use the Energy Retrieval. But again, if you have a Sycamore and that's your only supporter for getting more stuff out, and you have an Energy Retrieval, you're going to say goodbye to that Energy Retrieval, because you're not going to be able to attack before you use a Sycamore. Or yeah, so you're going to want to hold either the Energy Retrieval or the 2 energies in your hand, and you're not going to be able to Sycamore. You're not going to be able to get more stuff out. So that is another pitfall in this deck. So let's talk about the good stuff that I kind of figured out in this deck. One is the Silent Lab. So unfortunately, I was only able to squeeze, like, there's like so much going on in these trainers. I was only able to fit in 1 Silent Lab. And it's really good. Like, it stops Shamans, it stops Hoopas, it stops, you know, Manaphy-Es even. But the problem is, since you only have 1, you're not going to get it consistently. You're not going to get it first turn, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, the Hex Maniac actually helps a lot. But the problem is, you have to set your stuff up before you use a Hex Maniac. So you're gonna want to do the Abyssal Hands. You're gonna want to do the Starmie Space Beacon. You're gonna want to do the Golduck Break Energy Transfer, Hyper Transfer. So I mean, and that stuff is all doable. But like, let's say you just like jump the gun a little bit and you just like don't think it out and use your Hex Maniac, you're gonna end up screwing yourself. Okay, so the other thing that really super duper helps is both the Poison Barb and the Professor Kukui. So with the Golduck, you're going to be doing 120 damage max. And there's stuff like Xerneas that has 130, or like Xerneas Break that has 150. These are just examples. Stuff, and then there's like Fighting Fury Belts. So you're going to want to be doing that extra 20 damage, that extra 30 with the Poison Barb. Even with the Bursting Balloon, you're going to want to be doing that stuff. So that was like super duper helpful in this deck. The other thing that was really helpful is Lysandre, because Lysandre is good for getting those Shamans out, those Manaphy-Es, those stuff that have like exactly like 120 or 110 HP, and you can off them in 1 hit. So that was like super helpful in the deck. The problem is just, I was saying before, it's just that it wasn't enough. You're just not doing enough damage. And if you start falling behind with the Golducks, even though he can get up in 1 turn and he can get his energy going in 1 turn, you kind of have to have like your energy. You have to have your Golduck. You would prefer to have your Staryu so you can get your energy back, and you can prefer to have your Octillery so you can have drawing power. So there's a lot of factors that have to be kind of like lining up in this deck, and it ended up not working out like I don't want to say even like half of the time, but even like 25 to 30% of the time it wasn't working out, like that deck is not good enough for you to be using. I mean, yeah, it's fun for like just a friendly game, but once you start getting competitive, like this just isn't enough. I mean, arguably, it's probably not so great to be using like a water deck right now with the way the meta is, with people having Decidueye, Lurantis, and stuff like that. So, but you know, you gotta pick a type. You're gonna have a weakness no matter what. So, you know, that's just gonna happen. All right, so I decided to make a new version of this deck. And so this deck, I'm calling it Golduck 7, I think, or Golduck 6. I forgot what it was. And the first thing I said to myself was, I need another attacker that can do some damage. And the reasoning that I had behind this is like, okay, if I get rid of the Octillery and the Remoraid, I'm going to be able to put something else in. And the other thing I was thinking is, I was seeing a lot of Garbodors, and I was seeing a lot of people picking off my Starmie. So I said to myself, I'm going to need enough energy retrievals just in case Starmie gets killed, or just in case Starmie isn't able to recover life. I can't get a Starmie up fast enough, stuff like that. I need more energy retrieval in this deck. Okay. So those were my two things. What I started finding right away, so let me just go open up the other deck. I call that Golduck 8. And I'll expand that for you guys. And so what I was finding is that getting rid of the Octillery helped a lot with the setup. Like, I didn't have to set up as much. Like I was saying, I don't need to waste an Ultra Ball on a Remoraid, Ultra Ball or Dive Ball on a Remoraid, Dive Ball on a Octillery, Dive Ball on a Staryu, you know, to get everything out. I'm now able to keep my Dive Ball for the Golduck so I could get up as fast as possible. The other thing is, like, you end up using for Staryu, like you end up getting Starmies in your hand, or like a Staryu in your hand, so you're able to just use another Dive Ball for the other one, and you should be good with those. Okay, so here's the idea behind this deck. This version of the deck, I should say. So I added in a Lapras-GX. So I think you're pretty fine with just one. Like, you're only going to be attacking with one. But the problem is I have two in, because I was playing the deck. So I played it at the League Challenge tournament. And what ended up happening is, like, I actually had the advantage where my opponent had a fire type deck, but I didn't have the Lapras. It was prized, so I couldn't get it out. And I was getting the Psyducks out and the Golducks out, but my opponent, he kept picking them off, because he knew that, like, as soon as I got the Psyduck out, that I'd be one-shotting his stuff with the Golduck. So the Lapras would have been great, because it happened to be a Volcanion deck, and the Lapras would have been able to tank a lot of that damage. And so I think I did get the Manaphy out. So imagine if I had two Laprases out, I'd be able to tank the damage with one, and then when one got messed up, I'd be able to Manaphy it out and then get the other one out. Or I'd be able to, like, have a Psyduck building up on the bench, and then eventually get it to Golduck Break, and then transfer the energy off of the Lapras onto the new Lapras. So that kind of also... So, okay, let's go over the Lapras. Attack 1 is collect 3 cards. So you're either collecting 3 cards for your deck for your next turn, or you're kind of forcing your opponent to end you, or, you know, use up one of the supporters to kind of try to slow you down. It's great. The thing with this Lapras is, in 3 turns, it takes 3 turns to power up, right? But I wasn't using Max Elixir in the other deck, because, you know, that deck is about evolves. So the great thing about this deck is, you know, there's going to be times where you have a Psyduck or a Staryu as your basic, and you're going to be able to Max Elixir. But there's also going to be times where you have Lapras on your bench or Manaphy on your bench. So you're going to be able to max Elixir a lot more consistently than the old version of the deck. And so for that reason, I have 2 Max Elixirs. So the key thing is you're going to want, since Golduck only needs 1 card, 1 energy, you're going to want to have a Lapras on the bench powering up just as a backup. There's going to be turns where you might have 3 energy in your hand and Golduck's already powered up with 1. You're going to want to put your energy on the Lapras just to prepare for the future. Okay, so the other great part about that is if you can successfully retreat your Golduck and get your Lapras out, your Golduck retreats for free regardless. So if you can evolve into Golduck Break, you can take the energy off of the Golduck, put it onto the Lapras, and then attach another energy onto the Lapras the next turn, and it will be good to go. And like I'm saying, the good part about Lapras is if Lapras is what you get on the first turn, you're going to be able to collect, and you're going to be, that's at least some kind of draw support, you know. So because we removed the auxiliary, even though that's an ability which is a lot better, you're going to be able to collect and have some kind of draw support, just in case you get like a terrible hand. You get like a Golduck Break, and a Starmie in your hand, and you get like 2 versus Seekers, because you know you always get an awful hand like that. So you still have the Lapras to be able to do some drawing power. Probably the worst opening hand is the Manaphy. Honestly, like I only have 1 Manaphy in this deck because I don't think it's super duper necessary. Lapras has a 2 retreat cost, and if it comes down to it, just use up your energy and retreat. You can get it back with Starmie, and then get your Golduck up. But you know, and on the off case that you get a Dive Ball or Manaphy comes out, just play the Manaphy down and retreat the Lapras for free, and you're good to go. Bring up your Golduck and attack. Okay, so that's how that works in terms of, you know, putting energy, attaching energy, transferring energy with Golduck Break, recovering energy with Starmie. And the great thing is, like, Psyduck. I love Psyduck because in an emergency, like, Psyduck is always my go-to because you just throw him in and confuse. You know, I know they always have float stones or switches just at the right time, or escape rope or Pokemon Center Lady, but you never know. Like, that thing can save you like pretty often. All right, so let's go through the trainers. You definitely want the 4 Dive Balls, and like I was saying, since you have less stuff to set up, it's a lot more helpful, and like I think 4 is enough. Let's talk about the drawing power. So we have 4 Sycamores, 2 Kukui, and 3 and we have 4 versus Seeker. So like one of the first things I did when I edited this deck was to make sure I had 4 versus Seekers. I went for that first before anything else. I used to have a Lily and 3 Sycamores, but I found that I think I had 2 Lilies actually. I found that the Lilies weren't coming out at the right time, and it's the same problem as the auxiliary. Like you're holding the 2 energy in your hand to attack with Golduck, so the Lilies, like even if you had an energy retrieval, you couldn't get rid of it, you know, so it made it a little harder for the Lily to be usable. So I got rid of the Lily. I just did Sycamore, and we got Kukui just to do, again, it's the same thing with the Golduck. You want to do that extra damage, just in case when you want to do like 20 extra damage, which happens like super often, you have that in there. And yeah, so here I changed my Poison Barbs to be 2, so now my actual deck in real life has the 2 Poison Barbs, so now I'm okay with playing them here. So again, another thing I did in this deck was I actually added 3 energy retrievals, and that's just for when you don't have the Starmie out, so you can feel okay not having the Starmie out, and you know that probably helps contribute to keeping the Dive Balls to 4 and not having like another Ultra Ball or level ball to depend on. Good thing about Dive Ball is it can get you your Golduck Break and it can get you Lapras, so it's great. It works out great. And so the other thing I have in this deck is the Fisherman. So one other problem out there is the Vileplume. When you get the Vileplume, you're not going to be able to use items. So maybe I went a little overboard with the supporters in this deck. Let's see how many I have. I have 4, 5, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's a lot. I mean, a lot of them are Sycamore, which is okay. Sycamore and N, which are kind of like super necessary. If anything, I might get rid of the Hex Maniac because, like I said, it doesn't really help super much. Like, it won't help you against Garbodor, for example. It will help you with the Vileplume, for sure. But in terms of being able to versus Seeker it back out, you're not going to be able to. So you're pretty much going to get one turn to do your worst against the Vileplume. And at that point, a Lysandre might be the better option. Just Lysandre it out and pick it off from the bench. I mean, you're not always going to be able to Lysandre, but that's your best option. All right, so I actually only have one Trainers Mail and one Acro Bike. As good as they are, I had to make space somehow. And I don't want to say that they're not super essential, but you know, like I wanted to get those versus Seekers in. I wanted to get these certain things in. I have the Enhanced Hammer and the Team Flare Grunt, and really that's just, I don't like using Crushing Hammer because it can miss. So I got one of each of those, and one is an item, one is a supporter. So in case of a Vileplume, in case of you using another supporter, at least you have options. And also that Enhanced Hammer kind of also replaced the Assault Vest, because I was finding like maybe less than 50% of people are using Special Energy. I don't want to say are using, but they even need Special Energy. So the Assault Vest wasn't like, you'd put it out on a Pokemon, for example, and that Pokemon would die before facing a Special Energy. So at least you can hold an Enhanced Hammer for whenever, you know, because you kind of have to be a little bit predictive with the Assault Vest. So I just decided to go with the Enhanced Hammer. I actually got rid of Professor's Letter. I mean, it is helpful, but you know, there's a lot of energy recovery in this deck, and so I just put in like one extra energy, and so now I have 9 energy and 1 Splash Energy. Maybe I could have done one more Splash Energy, but I kind of like this because you can actually recover the regular energy. And I think that's about it. I have 1 Super Rod. I would like to put another one in. And I also had Teammates, but I don't have that card in real life, so I took it out for, I think actually that allowed me to fit another Sycamore in somehow. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Let's go into a game just to see, so you can see how that works. And that's actually Golduck 8. Golduck the 8th. So we'll make sure to use that one in the next game. I guess it's not favorited. Let's see how we do. We'll play one game, win or lose. I've been talking for a lot, so let's try to keep this within an hour or 50 minutes or whatever. Killer Krong with the water deck. What I've been kind of noticing a lot more lately is people are actually using Golduck decks, or decks with Golduck in them. I played someone with the Artillery and I was like, well, I know I'm gonna win this one because the Artillery is too slow. I've seen it with the Lapras, and I forgot what else I saw it with. but you know, I'm seeing it a little bit more. Alright, so this is good. We already got the Staryu out. We got some draw support. I'll probably lose the Trainers Mail, and then I'll end. Maybe I'll save the Trainers Mail, because I don't think I'm gonna get anything useful, like super useful for first turn, so not even gonna bother. Okay, so we got the Dive Ball. I might just save that. Could be good to get the energy on the Staryu, but again, it could just be a waste, because attacking with the Staryu is really only going to happen much later on. So I'm talking about the Max Elixir there. Okay, so here's another thing that the Lapras is good for, is that Glaceon-EX. Your Psyducks aren't going to be... Okay. Oh, that's great. Perfect. Got nothing. Your Golducks aren't going to be able to hit this thing. So you're going to want to retreat into what am I saying here? What was I saying? Into a Lapras. As much as I want to take a Lapras right now, I kind of want to start hitting with the Golduck. So I'm just going to use another N. I know I'm kind of helping him out a little bit. Oh, see, look, now I have the Splash Energy. Would have been nice if it came out earlier. So looks like I got pretty much the same hand. Since I don't really have energy. Oh man, what a tough call right here. I hate this. All right, so I already used the N. I'm gonna have to scratch. That kind of sucks. The good thing about that is that unless he gets a Fighting Fury though, he won't be able to kill in one turn. But otherwise, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, so if he... I might have to put this... Yeah, okay. I'll put the Splash Energy out. He kind of made a mistake there. Okay, maybe not. Okay, actually, yeah. Okay, so now I'm actually going to be able to use that energy, which is good, because I'll just recover it. Oh, man, that's a jerk move. So, okay. Alright, he only did 60. He could have used Rage. But he was an idiot. So, it's knocked out from the damage of an opponent's attack. So, you gotta be careful there to not die of poisoning. Because, actually what I'll do is... Oh, I can't Max Elixir because he's already evolved him. Alright, I might just end. I think I'm gonna end again. Or maybe I'll... No, should I Sycamore? Yeah, I'll Sycamore because... Yeah, I'll Sycamore. When did I use a Sycamore? I don't even know. Okay, anyway. I'll do the Sycamore. So now I can recover these 2 water energies. I got another Psyduck out. I would like to Max Elixir the Starmie, but I can't. I can't do anything else. So I'm gonna Space Beacon with the Staryu. And I know he's gonna destroy me next turn, but I'm pretty much dead next turn anyway. So let me do that damage. So good. So the good thing about this now is that even if he decides to not attack me and let me die from poisoning, I'm not gonna die next turn, so I'll just retreat and attack with the other Golduck. Oh, great. That's terrible. So now I need to use 2 energy. What he doesn't know is that I already have a Golduck in my hand. So even if he does something to remove this energy, I still have this other Golduck. The good thing is I'm getting that Golduck back and the Psyduck, so I can play both of them. See, this is perfect. I can use this, get it on the Psyduck, and then so I only need to do 60 because of the poison, and he doesn't have a whatchamacallit, a Fighting Fury belt. So if I get poisoned, I don't really mind, because I can just retreat next turn, and I'll just double jet for 1. Bam. Alright, so see, that's why you need the Golduck out right away, so he can start doing damage to any GX or EX or whatever. Okay, so good. Even though he got the first kill, we got 2 prizes out of our kill, so we're good to go. Okay, so now that the Glaceon's out, I gotta start thinking about whether I want to use. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say whether I want to use the Dive Ball for a Lapras or for Golduck Break. Manaphy, well, there's Manaphy. Manaphy could be useful just to help the Lapras retreat if necessary, but Golduck Break would be useful for transferring that energy to the Lapras. So here, now we have, damn, I lost the Golduck, sadly. Now we have 1-2 turns to kill this thing before it can start using Crystal Ray. Delinquent isn't actually gonna help me, but I have no other choice, so I might as well just take it. Okay, so I'll play the Manaphy. Now everything retreats for free. Oh, okay, so I have this, the N. I'll go for the N. There you go. There you go, perfect. So now I have the Lapras and the Golduck. So I'm actually gonna use the Super Rod to get the 2 energy back. Kind of wasting the Super Rod. Oh, I only had 1 energy. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter. That's fine. I would have used 1 energy to get 1 energy back anyway. So we did the 120 damage, and that's what matters. Like I said, actually I probably should have retreated to get rid of the poison and use the other Golduck. And looks like I'm gonna have to retreat him anyway. Actually, if I was him, I would remove it from the bench. Golduck. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so we're gonna retreat the Golduck no matter what. Probably gonna use Starmie, whatever card comes up, to get the energy back with the Lapras. Actually, Golduck's gonna die. So we're gonna start powering the Lapras. And hopefully we can get a Golduck Break out to power the Lapras up even faster. Oh, come on, boy. The good thing is that Lapras can pretty much one-shot this thing. So alright, I'm gonna put the Golduck up just so I could just retreat. Because you never know. You never know. Alright, let's hope for a Sycamore. Damn. Energy Retrieval is not that bad. Because I'm actually able to get 3 energy back with it. Wait. No, wait. No. Since I only have 3, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'll just energy retrieval. But usually you want to use energy retrieval first and then space beacon off of 1 energy to get 2 back. But since there's only 1 in there, I'm not going to be able to get 2 back. Okay, so I'm gonna attach to this thing, and I'm gonna tank with Golduck. As crazy as that sounds, since he can take a hit, and hopefully he doesn't get a Kukui or something, I'm just gonna tank with the Golduck. And so we threw away the Super Rod, so we only have, oh, we have we have one more Psyduck and Golduck left, and 2 more Psyducks. Okay, so there's the tanking of the damage. Oh, there's the other Psyduck, the other Golduck. Would have been great to get the Golduck break, but can't win them all. So I'm gonna collect, and hopefully, well, I don't really need another energy, but hopefully I can get a Golduck break, which I didn't. Alright, so let's see, what can we use this versus Seeker on? I probably don't want to throw that Golduck away. So we can get an N. Oh, come on, man. So I'm probably gonna end and hope for a way to get either Golduck break or a Dive Ball. Okay, so we got the energy. And look who is here to save the day. Alright, so now we got the Golduck break. We're gonna get rid of the Hex Maniac. Should I use it? See, so like a lot of times I'll just use the GX attack. Since we already have Manaphy on the bench, we don't have to worry so much about being able to retreat. We can hyper transfer the water to the Lapras. We can, alright, we're done with that. We can recover 2 water with the Hex Maniac. Did we attach this turn? Yes, okay, so that was an essential part of this turn, was being able to attach. And we're just gonna Ice Beam. No, we're gonna Blizzard Burn. No, we're gonna Ice Beam. We're gonna Ice Beam. Oh shit, that's actually not enough damage. See, guys, that's why I'm an idiot. Okay, so do we have 2 energies to recover? No. I'm an idiot, guys. I shouldn't have done that. Hopefully he doesn't have Pokemon Center Lady or Escape Rope or anything. See, I was afraid of having to retreat into the Golduck and start attacking the Lapras with my Lapras. So I just made a dumb mistake there. Hopefully that doesn't cost us the game, because now there's a Tauros out. And even though he doesn't have any energy, doesn't matter, my guy. Your Lysandre's wasted, and it actually helps me. But I think he might have done that because he probably has enough to one-shot the Golduck with the Tauros. Or maybe not, actually. So I might just do the 10 damage, the 20 damage, and take it. So since he didn't use Crystal Ray, I was able to do that. I guess that's why he got the Golduck out. Just somehow he thought he'd be able to use Crystal Ray, but not today, my friend. And so the music kicks in, because it's coming down to the wire. I might just do the 60 damage to the Tauros. I might just do the 20 damage to the Tauros. But I'm thinking 60, just in case he has a potion. I love this deck. Like, I'm so confident in this deck. Even though I've started to lose a little bit more, it was winning so much. Because it just works out. See, I knew it. But he's going to have to do 10 extra damage somehow. and he's not gonna be able to. Okay, so that's fine. So now, do we sacrifice the Golduck? Or we don't even have to sacrifice him. We can retreat to the other Golduck and use 1 energy. And we don't have anything here, right? So I could also get a brand new hand with Lysandre. See, now it would have been useful to have the Ice Beam. So I think I'm gonna get a brand new hand because I should be able to win within 10 turns. I'm always afraid of decking out because the previous version of this deck had would deck out would come close to decking out pretty often. So I can go for the Golduck Break or the Lapras. I am honestly gonna go for the Golduck Break. So actually I probably should have transferred this energy to here. But that's okay. We're gonna do this. He's not gonna be able to retreat unless he has something to help him retreat. And I'm gonna do a double jet. Should I do it for 2? Do the 120. I'll do it for 1. Actually, I should have done it for 2. Because he's probably gonna try to potion up or something. Pokemon Center Lady up. But unless he's able to do one of those things or retreat, we should be good. Boy, you don't even know how much that doesn't matter. I could retreat for free into Lapras for game. I could recover energy for game. Well, maybe not for game. Like a hyper transfer, recover energy for game. So there it goes, the Pokemon Center Lady. So that's fine. He's not gonna have energy to do anything. So we're gonna have the Golduck Break. We have the Fisherman on deck just in case. We have a lot of stuff going our way right now. So since the Starmie is pretty useless right now, we're gonna use that. We're gonna double jet. Bam. So there's pretty much not much he can do right now. He's gonna have to retreat. That's his best option right now. He's not gonna be able to get 4 prizes worth of kills, or even 2 prizes worth of kills. Go ahead and versus Seeker. Pokemon Center Lady. See, so now he's only gonna be able to heal 60, and we'll get the kill. He can end. It's probably the best thing he can do. This doesn't affect me that much. I can retreat. I can hyper transfer. So that's the good thing about this deck is like the energy costs don't really matter that much. You can recover energy. You know, the Golduck attacks pretty quickly. And there you have it, guys. Bam. I'm not so sure that was a super strong competitive deck that guy had going there. But the Golduck opened for us, so I'm happy about that. Let's see if we could take a look at his deck. So I've been trying to do this a lot more just to pay attention. It's like a pseudo water box deck. If I was him, I'd probably add, like, this deck, I'm not sure if it seems that good. He's got 5 Pokemon in it. I would probably try to add a Manaphy or something. Because the double colorless does help, but the double colorless doesn't work for Lapras. Does he have Max Elixir? Yeah, so I'm not really sure what he's trying to go for in this deck. I mean, he does have some decent energy removal. 4 crushing hammers, 2 enhanced hammers. He does have the Team Flare Grunt and 4 Team Skull Grunt. So this is supposed to be more of a discard deck. But my deck is not weak against discard whatsoever, so that sucks for him. He played against the wrong opponent. So let me see if I can check how long I've been recording for. Yeah, 51 minutes. All right, so I think that's long enough for a video. So I'm gonna end the stream right there. So yeah, for any of you that are fans of Golduck like me, as you can see my username, there is options for using Golduck, and I'm still using, well, I'm using 3 in this deck and 2 Golduck breaks, but I can easily just change it to 4. I was just finding that if I'm really up to the 4th Golduck, and you know I haven't used a Super Rod or a Splash Energy, that I was pretty much losing the game already, because that would mean that like my Golducks are getting killed like quickly enough that I'm not really doing damage with them anyway. So I have 3 in there, you know, but I'm happy with that. You know, Golduck is still the main attacker of the deck, even if I don't have 4. So yeah, I just wanted to figure out another way to use the Golduck, and I feel like this deck is a little more competitive. It's not super competitive, unfortunately, since we have the Decidueye decks, since we have a lot of grass decks, Vileplumes and stuff like that. But I'm really glad I've been working on this deck even before the big change. I was working to make this deck as good as possible, to make the Golduck do as much damage as possible, and to help him survive as long as possible. I think it's a really fun card to use. A lot of people are surprised when they see it in action. Like, just the fact that you can just like get your Golduck out of there, get your Lapras out of there when you have the Manaphy. You can transfer the energy. If you have the Manaphy and the Golduck breakout, you can get anyone out. As long as there's an energy to go around, you can transfer the 1 energy, retreat, transfer it back to the Golduck or whatever else. So there's a lot of moving around in this deck, and there's a lot of options. There's a lot of escape routes. You know, you're not always like backed into a dead end with this deck. So I think it's a lot of fun, and I think you're gonna get a lot of good games. People are gonna say, wow, that was a good game. Even if you do end up losing, a lot of stuff like that's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna keep them on their toes. So, and again, just to reiterate, I like the Energy Retrieval and the Fisherman in place of the, you know, just in case you're not able to Starmie. I like the extra drawing power. I probably could have had more drawing power on the other deck, but I like the extra drawing power in this deck, so you can get everything out. So you can get, you know, the Dive Ball, so you can get stuff, just get stuff out, you know. So if you're considering still using Golduck, I know this isn't a budget deck anymore, but Lapras, well, a lot of people in my league have Lapras, and I actually forgot that I traded one of my Laprases away, so I didn't have a Lapras. But I was able to trade for it back because a lot of people just have it, and like they don't really love the card so much. I was able to get a full art for like $6. I think I like the full art better than the regular one. Let's see. I'm checking on eBay again. So you can get 4 for. No, that's a bit. Let me put it on buy it now. So you can get a Lapras for $7, $6.50. There's one for $5, and I think I actually got it from Amazon. Let me check that real quick. And the reason I remember that is because I think the Lapras, the full art was like 40 cents more than the regular one. Okay, so now actually the regular one is about $4.60 and the full art is about $7. The hyper rare is like $14 on Amazon, which is coming down, so I don't feel so bad about having traded my hyper rare, but at the same time I traded a hyper rare. So yeah, you can get the Manaphy for $5 and you really only need one. If you're gonna get the Lapras, you might want to get 2, and you can get that for, oh, here's one for $4.50 what did I say the Amazon price was? $4.95. So you're looking at like $10 about to get the two Laprases. You really only need one Lapras, but just in case you get prized, you want to have two. Maybe you could do a Lapras in a Rotom Dex. So yeah, I think that's the only other expensive card in the deck. Let's check real quick. Deck editor. Okay, I mean, you don't need the full art Kukui. Everything else should be cheap. I mean, the Golduck BREAK, I think I got 4 for like $3 or something like that. The only reason that they would cost money is if you only buy one, and it's probably like $2 for one, which is not that great of a price. But if you buy like 4, you'll get a better deal. Yeah, and that's about it. I guess the Max Elixir might be a little, or the Versus Seekers are actually a little bit pricey. But, you know, they're not too bad. If you're really planning to play the game, you're probably going to want 4 Versus Seekers anyway. You're probably going to try to get 4 Trainers Mail. That's another, like, semi-expensive card. Alright, so, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know. I'm putting this on YouTube, and I'm streaming, so let me know in the YouTube comments what you think about this deck. Give me a like if you end up liking it. Leave a comment if you end up liking it. Leave a comment if you think it sucks and you think I should take whatever out. If you think 13 supporters is too much. I think it was 13, which it probably is, but whatever. Yeah, and I have a couple of other deck ideas that I'm going to post, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I get them up. So yeah, I think that's all I need to say. So thanks for watching, peace, and keep playing Pokemon. Bye.